Today I just picked up a brand new 2024 Beta 350RR race. This is the first time ever owning a Beta. I do not know anything about them. So we are going to do some disassembly. I'm going to get up under here. Say hi, Moto. I'm going to take all the plastics off, tank off, check all the electrical connections, do a thorough greasing of all the linkages, just go around and check all the nuts and bolts and familiarize myself with this brand new bike. It's a little cold outside. We've had a lot of rain, so I'm not going to be riding it for another week or so, but that gives me a good time to check this thing over, do all my little customizations, handlebars, grips, lever positions, that kind of stuff. When I say it's brand new, it's brand new. I haven't even taken off the keys yet. I think I've got 3 minutes on the bike just driving up and down the driveway just to see what it's like. So let's get started. One cool thing I really like about these Betas is you do not need anything to take out the seat. Got this cool little push button assembly. I'm very interested in seeing this. I may duplicate this thing in carbon fiber titanium, because why not? I've done that with seat bolts on YZs. So if anybody out there wants a YZ 125 or 250 from 2002 to 2022, I can make titanium seat brackets for those bikes. Like I said, I don't know anything about these bikes. You are learning with me. But I do know I want to get rid of this taillight and license plate assembly, because I don't plan on running those other than a few enduros from time to time. Makes it really nice, just a little connector in there. But it's one of those style of connectors that you cannot get apart with your fingernail. That was easy. This thing is very well built. I do like the fact that it has these little like hand grabs. This thing's really beefy. I mean, it's hard to twist around. I could see where that come in very handy for like hard enduro, or someplace you know you're going to get stuck. So I may definitely put that back in when I'm racing some enduros or hard enduros or something where I know I'm going to be tugging on the bike and probably getting stuck. Look at that, just like a KTM or gas Husky. Makes it real easy to get to the air filter. I like that. Plus, I guess I've seen videos of guys working on these things on the trails. I don't know about the newer ones. I've heard the older ones had some problems with electrical stuff. My dealer said they kind of alleviated that. I guess we're going to see. But it is nice to be able to get that seat off and get in here and look at the fuses, relays and stuff like that, and just be able to access them. Oh, how cool is that? I suspect that's probably an expensive plastic piece. I definitely don't want to loop out, but holy smokes, that thing is beefy. Like, that's thick plastic. That's the connector I was able to take out for the rear tail light. You know, these things do come factory wired for tail lights, and that is awesome. I love the fact that Beta does that. That's super cool. I don't necessarily plan on using turn signals, but it's awesome to know that I can. So I'm going to get a zip tie and tie that up right there. That way I don't have any risk of it coming out. One thing I will note, I felt some of the older Betas, and yeah, the seat is very hard. But I will say with this new 2024 Beta, they soften the seat up, and just my initial thoughts, it's still insanely hard. So I'm pretty sure we were going to go with a Seat Concepts or a some other option, maybe a Guts seat. I love the grippiness of the seat. It looks awesome with the red and blue, but I don't need this, and that just looks like something that's going to hold mud and water, and I don't think it looks that good. So we're going to be replacing that. I don't know if you guys ever watch this Marsh MX on YouTube or Instagram, but he's a British bloke, rides a Beta. Pretty sure it's a 350 also. But I was watching some of his videos, and that's part of the reason why I kind of chose a Beta 350, seeing that he was able to do some of this hard enduro stuff with this bike. So if he can do it, I can do it, but worse. One thing I am kind of disappointed is the coatings on the factory hardware. It's kind of like the KTM Husky gas. It's just that crappy, I don't know, zinc. I don't know if it's zinc, but that stuff that, you know, you're going to initially wear off that whatever protective coating on that bolt real quick. They will start to rust, dull, just generally look like garbage after, you know, even if you, they don't even look good now. So at some point in the near future, I'm going to get on spec bolt and see if I can't find some proper, either the nickel works or the whatever their other option is, get a little bit better quality looking bolt, something's going to hold up and just make it look a little bit better, because that is a gorgeous bike and I don't want to make it look bad with the factory hardware. I like the fact that they covered the tank a little bit, but I also kind of wonder if this thing comes off. Oops. It does come off. Oh, there's a little drain, fuel. That thing is molded in, so I'm guessing probably can't run without that, as long as I want the mode selector and traction control. My dealer did say, and I do have I have a Recluse ready to put on. I will do that at a later date. But my dealer did say the factory recommends not using traction control with a Recluse. Something about the computer does not know that there's a Recluse in it, and the Recluse and traction control will fight each other. And I don't really want to test that out. I don't really foresee a need for traction control all that much. I suppose in certain situations it would be nice to have, but we're not going to use it, especially putting a Recluse in. We'll just follow the factory recommendations. Is it a one bolt tank? Kind of looks like it. I like the quick disconnect fuel line, although plastic, kind of looks cheap. I hope it is not cheap. Definitely should have had a rag ready for that. I knew that was coming. that's easy. Oh, yeah. Another connector. Two connectors in here. Oh, yeah. Dealer was nice enough to fill up the tank for me. Gonna stay. It's not gonna stay. There we go. Yeah, look at that. My dealer went in through here, all the connectors that you can get to. I'm not sure if he pulled the tank or anything like that, but he went in and put a little dielectric grease on everything. Looks like there is a few more connections that I'm going to have to add myself. But definitely going to keep a little, some kind of little tool bag in the bike with me, like a small 8mm wrench or T-handle or something like that. You can take this tank off on the trail if need be. I suppose there could be some situations where you might need that. I did order a fan kit, and my dealer already installed it, so I'm guessing he did have the tank off. It is February 3rd. It is Detroit race weekend. So we're going to work on the bike, watch a little Pro Supercross, see how good Beta Benny does, see if he can qualify, and see, I don't know, maybe top 15. Dude's good enough. It is a stacked field this year for sure, though. It is awesome that they put these little frame guards on, but what I know off of when I had my gas, that stuff, dirt, sand, gravel likes to get underneath of that stuff and rubs it raw. So I'm going to take this off, replace it with a Cherby's. It's got the little grippy deals on it. Love them. And then while I'm at it, add a little red vinyl material, like graphic material. Put it on the frame here, because I know I'm going to rub that area. I'll probably rub this area, but it's nice to be able to kind of just separate, have a little protective layer between the boot and the frame guard and the frame. So we're going to protect the bike a little bit while it's fresh. Got everything taken out. I don't want to take apart this whole wiring harness, so in order to get the shock off, I'm just going to see if I can't rotate this thing up out of the way. I may not be able to tilt that completely up, but I can. Another thing I'm definitely not going to need is a horn. Although there are a lot of races where a horn may come in handy, since I did get rid of those headlight controls. There's a plugs for them right here behind this mask, but I don't necessarily need a horn, especially with no button to turn it on. We're going to get rid of that and drop, 20 pounds or whatever that horn weighs, because I am so fast I need that kind of weight savings. That's some good sarcasm. Oh, you gotta love a fresh swing arm pivot, because you can just push them right out. There's no dirt. Did I mention factory puts in a lot of lithium grease? I presume it's lithium. Sure looks like it. There you go. There's a swing arm. What do you know? factory used a lot of lithium grease on this axle. Very nice of them. We're going to see how they did on the linkages. Like any other Japanese or Austrian brands, they don't use hardly anything at all. So we're going to see what kind of grease we have. I'm not expecting a whole lot based on past experience, but we'll see. I love this black swing arm. Awesome that the powder coat, looks like powder coat or anodize and then machine afterwards. That's awesome. I did on my gas, I took everything apart and sent it to a local anodizer and had the swing arm, kickstand, a whole bunch of other little things anodized, hard anodized black, and it looks cool. Not as cool as this machined afterwards. Of course, there's always one thing I tend to forget is master link. Let's see if we can get this thing off here. Probably be easier with a proper set of pliers. Ah, there we go. Factory O-ring chain. Nice. I guess I should have done this before I took the wheel off. That would have made it a heck of a lot easier. But nobody's ever accused me of being a smart man. Oh. One thing for most racers, I guess, me specifically, don't need this controller here. I don't plan on using the headlight a lot. In fact, I've got an RX number plate coming to get rid of this thing. I'll use it when I need it for enduros and stuff. But we're going to take this electrical control off, dig up underneath here from the headlight mask. There's a couple connections that need to come out, and I will find some way to kind of contain, you know, plug up those connectors and make sure I don't get any dirt and mud and stuff inside of it. Fun fact, an X-Trig preload adjuster from a YZ 2-stroke fits the shock. I had one laying around. I do adjust my sag a lot depending on what kind of race I'm doing or what kind of riding I'm doing. It's a little tight, but with like one of these little like looser fitting extension, you can get in there and adjust it. I like to be able to use a like a little 1/4 inch impact, it sure makes these things a lot easier to adjust, a lot faster. Be able to do it by yourself, and no hammer and chisel or screwdriver. A cool thing that Beta thought of with the design of the like the lower part of the frame that holds this dog bone, there's not a lot of room, like no room, to get that bolt out without taking the foot peg off. And Beta has, oh, should have grabbed that, cut out a little notch on that bolt so you can get the bolt out. Look at that. Good work, Beta.
Experience on my belly.
He is in 7th place right now. Unbelievable.
Yeah, just an incredible story. Will Christian was telling us a little bit about it earlier on. And I mean, this guy was 17, 18 years old, living in Spain, and he got a fill-in ride for the German championship. And as he was doing that fill-in ride, they called someone from Star Yamaha and said, "You got to get this guy over here." He tried out for that, and now he is. Here he is.
He said when he got that call, he thought it was a prank.
Yeah.
But they booked him a flight. He came to America. He learned with that Yamaha team now in Husqvarna. Very good. And now we see what has changed that podium position. There's the race leader.
I'm going to put the swing arm back on the bike to, I don't know why I didn't break that loose, but we're going to go ahead and put the swing arm back on just so we could have some, a little bit better leverage and traction to get that nut broke loose on the other side. And we'll get that all greased up. We've got the swing arm bearings, and we've got the dog bone greased already. There is, I think, a little bit more grease in these than I've ever seen in the Japanese and Austrian bikes, but still not enough for me. I like to use this Maxima stuff here. It's extremely sticky, but man, it sure does a good job.
And he has delivered, and that is huge for his team. Together in the first turn. 55. Torn ACL out for the season, about 50 feet into the 2023 season.
Just as a hard break, that would end it. I mean, again, to make a lap. You see the frustration as he's laying down, just knowing something is extremely wrong.
And surgery, recovery, and 1 year later, back in Supercross and winning in Detroit. And you know,
Like a glove.
Yeah, I love it. You can see it right there. There's his mechanic on the right, Tony Archer. Here's his dad there with the hoodie on.
he said it wasn't about the results, it's about riding well. When you win, though, it's about the results. Austin Forkner, a happy winner. Talk to him after this.
We're gonna have to figure out the torque specs. New enough bike. I don't have the book all printed out. I don't have torque specs for everything else.
It's a must-see phenomenon.
It's a learning experience. But I am initially impressed with the build quality of this bike. I think, like, I don't know a lot about Betas. I never ridden one. I rode one a few years ago with the ZF suspension, and I was not impressed. I think it was maybe a 2020. Not impressed with the bikes. I didn't spend a lot of time as a demo day. Just do one lap through a short section of woods. Wasn't necessarily impressed by it. But now, just riding this up and down the driveway, I mean, it feels natural. The bars, you know, I'm 6 foot, about 180 pounds. The suspension feels good just right off the bat. I know it's going to break in a little bit, but that's the benefit of that Kayama suspension. That stuff is good. Like, I spent a bunch of money on the WP suspension trying to get it to work right, and I could never get it to feel right, so I spent a bunch of money on the WP 6500 cartridges, and holy smokes, that made a humongous difference there. So I kind of hate to get rid of it, because those 6500s were that good. I mean, it made a world of difference on that bike. But I mean, even at that point, you know, I don't think you could beat the WP or the KYB suspension. that sets the industry standard, I think. And I don't plan on doing anything fancy to it, like you know, other than maybe just a revalve. We'll do some playing in the woods here in about a week once it dries up a little bit, and break the suspension in initially, get all that old oil out eventually too, maybe, depending on how this thing feels. It's very possible we might put some Race Tech gold valves in. I don't know. We will see. I like this bike. One thing I do need to do is take these slider pins out. I'll do that before I put the bike back together, but I'll take these pins out and put some proper grease in it. Alright, I've got the linkages all greased up, swing arm put back on. Now we will go ahead and put this shock back together. Alright, I'm to the point of putting the bike back together. I've got the swing arm greased, I've got all the linkages greased, I got my rear wheel put back on. I need to get a little personal items, like the little 856 clutch cover. I'm going to replace these grips. They do feel kind of nice. I'm just used to the like the OEM ODI grips that come on like the gases. I just feel super comfortable with those grips, so those will be changing. I will be putting on some hand guards. The factory hand guards that come with the bike I don't think look that great, so I'm going to go with the Enduro Engineering flag style guards that mount to the clutch perch and brake perch. So those will be on their way. One thing to note, yes, the Yamaha YZ X-Trig preload adjuster does fit, although probably a little hard to see, but it's gonna be kind of tough to get to the adjuster. I think it'll still work. It'll be just fine for what I need, but it's not ideal. It would be super nice. I don't know, I presume X-Trig already makes them for the beta with the adjuster right here, easily accessed. I may do that later once I get the suspension broke in and needing oils and seals replaced. I'll probably, if they make one, I'll go ahead and replace it while it's ready. So I think we're to the point of starting putting the thing back together. I guess we'll go ahead and put the exhaust back on now. It is a tight-fitting exhaust. Like from the factory, they did a dang good job. Well, I got it all back together and realized that I'm gonna have to take it all back apart again, because the X-Trig adjuster that I told everybody would fit, yes, it does fit, but you can't get to it. It's back in here that you can't even get the socket on anymore. So looks like we're gonna have to tear all this back apart and redo it again. No big deal. I couldn't help myself. I had to get out here and just give it a quick little whirl through the woods up by the creek. There's my black dog Moto right there. It's a little slimy on top, but actually not too bad. All right, initial thoughts of a 2024 Beta 350 RR race. Took it out for a quick little spin through the woods. It was a little sloppy. So, like, it's a brand new bike, so everything's tight, everything's stiff. Got to get used to the ergonomics. First thoughts. It's got some power. I think it's geared a little too high for like slow enduro type stuff. I'm going to probably go up a tooth or two on the rear sprocket. It's got a lot of power. I think with the 350 over the 250, and it's gonna do a good job for enduro for what I want it to do. Got to give the suspension a little bit time to break in, but really it feels pretty good for a new bike. Not used to it whatsoever. It's pretty comfortable. I'm coming off of a 2021 Gas EX250F. That was my all-time favorite bike. Super comfortable. Loved everything about it. So it's kind of a hard thing to be able to match that kind of comfort on a bike, but I think this one might do it. I don't like the grips. I'm going to change grips. Maybe change the bars a little bit. I'm going to play with that a little bit before I spend too much money on bars. One thing I don't like, see that angle? The kickstand is way too short and there's not much of a pad on the foot. If it's wet out there, you're going to be sinking the foot peg, or the kickstand pad through the ground. I guess I don't know what to say until I can ride it some more. Hopefully later this week I'll be able to ride it dries out a little bit more. One thing I did notice, this is a huge rear tire. I'm used to a 110, maybe 120. These things come from the factory with a 140. I think if I start doing some like XC racing where it gets real rutted, I'm going to want a probably at most a 120, because that's not going to go very well through the ruts that other guys with 110s and 120s are going to be making. I'm going to have to do an exhaust because A, that thing is ugly, and B, I know that motor is a lot better sounding than what that exhaust makes it, so you get a little bit more growl out of it. Next step, going to be putting in a recluse. I may make a video of that, maybe not, I don't know. But next time I ride it, I'll get a little footage of it and put it up on this channel. If you feel so inclined, hit that like, comment, share, subscribe button, if you will. I know I make some pretty crappy videos, but we're growing a little bit, figuring things out along the way. So until next time, see ya.